Okay.
Round two.
Round two. Questions are in the thing. All right.
Fight.
Let me tweet out what happened.
Hey, I see them. Look at that.
Yeah, there are no questions there, but
hey, there could be.
Okay. Maybe soon. If I can. This is like just a well-oiled machine that we got here. God, I hate that this camera's like, oh, let me just adjust for the light. You're not like the palest human, right?
Well, I mean, you are some form of a ghost. I think we have established that a couple of times. I don't know if we've done that on air.
I am both a spookum and a haint. All right, I'm just tweeting right now. We have one viewer. Hello, one viewer.
Hello, one viewer.
If you can post a question, do that. You might have to be connected to Google Plus. Big old shrug.
And if you can't, tweet at us.
Hashtag PWT United.
And I will be checking that hashtag frequently.
This is great video and even better audio.
Well, it's okay. I think, it's a thing. It's a learning process.
Yes, very much a learning process. I was like,
but apparently it says if you're viewing the broadcast from YouTube, annotations are available on the video. The annotations will point viewers to the Google Hangout on Air page with the Q&A app. So viewer, if you turn on your annotations, it might lead you to the Q&A app. And again, if it doesn't, tweet at us.
Tweet us. All right. So I have retweet about this. Alan, how's your day going, buddy?
It's been good. It's been hectic and kind of long, but it's been good. How about yours?
Oh, I've had it off. I edited like a little bit, and that's about it. 2 viewers, up to 2 viewers.
Woo!
All right.
Hello, 2 people.
All right. Again, for the new person, sorry that I am a literal specter right now, but I cannot change the light adaptation features on my webcam. I'm sorry. I can do this. Oh, look, he's a person now. Oh, look at that.
There's definition in the beard. Just
his face, his arm will get tired, and his face is not worth this. So that's all right. Retweeting this from my account. Oh boy. All right. So Alan, let me ask you. Let me start off with a question. How about that?
Ooh, okay.
What's your favorite voice to do? Who's your favorite voice that you do?
Oh, that is kind of like choosing between my children because each one is fun in a different way. I like Victor because he's so youthful and he's so different than my own voice. As far as Pokemon go, I love doing Togepi.
Togepi's a good one. Togepi's a really good one.
I love doing Bango and Treble. I think those are the ones I've got the most practice with. And I've kind of gotten down to a bit of a science, but I'm not sure. Yeah, they've met Dippy at this point.
Yeah, they should have.
Slowpoke is probably one of my favorite to do, simply because it's just so derpy and slow poke. It's just fun.
It's a good one. It's a real good one. I gotta use Dippy more. We were talking about it over on Twitter, and then I think also in our group chat, us and Shannon and Josh, and like just a lot of good stuff can come from Dippy being around. So
so much good stuff. So much good stuff. So what is your favorite Pokemon that you've caught so far?
That I've caught?
Yeah.
So
Bango does not count.
Bango does not count. Scramble does not count. Because Scramble like hatched, so like doesn't really count.
That's true. It doesn't really count.
I started with Bango. I like Luke a lot because I think it's a good name. I'm sad that I didn't come up with it. I got to give that credit to Josh, unfortunately. But that's fine. Whatever. He can have one. I texted him to see if he would be here because he's got a thing a little bit later, but I didn't realize it was later. So, but my my phone was being kind of weird, and it sent it as a text message, and those don't always get to their destination. So, oop, one oop. All right. So I'm not seeing any questions come in. Oh, maybe I can. Let me look at these questions. Okay, nope, none of the questions are open. So what was that thing you said about annotations? If you click on annotations, it should lead people to where they can ask questions.
Exactly. If you click on the annotations of the YouTube video, if you're viewing this on YouTube, in the annotations, according to Mr. Dr. Internet, there should be a link that will take you to the Google Hangouts page that this is actually being hosted on. And from there, you should be able to access the Q&A app and be able to ask us questions. And then we can talk about what you want us to talk about instead of making things up to talk about.
So before, in the bad one that didn't work, there were 5 people who decided that this was not worth it.
Somebody was like, you know what? No.
I wish that there was a way that I could like. Oh, hold on. What is this? Can I? No, I can't. I was 4 viewers. Okay, good. Getting them back slowly but surely. Getting them back. I wish I could invite people, because I would invite Shannon because I feel like she might be one of them, one of the people watching. But it doesn't seem to let me. This is probably like the easiest thing to figure out. Like, this is like there's probably a button that I'm just not looking at. That's like, yeah, just like ask another person to show up. But all I'm seeing is apps. So
let me see what Mr. Dr. Internet says.
Okay. So people, friends, tweet at us if you can't figure out how the questions work, which I don't blame.
I don't blame you.
If you can't, tweet at us with the hashtag PWT United, and I am constantly refreshing it right now. And God, that light is just so bad. All right. Well, here we go. This is what my face normally looks like. Hey, everybody. I'm a go.
Speaking of hashtag PWT United, you want to talk about some of the really cool fan art that we've gotten?
Oh, heck yeah. Let's do that.
Recently, I know that we got a super amazing one of Cobalt, which is mildly frightening, but super cool from James.
Okay, I was going to say, because we got 2 of them. We got one from James, one from Sky, and they are both spooky.
Yeah.
One of them is Cobalt getting his bad dreams sucked out through his nose with a straw from Hypno.
That is a thing that is happening.
Or maybe he's putting the bad dreams into him via his nose. Maybe that's how that works. I don't know. I don't want to be a part of that either way, is my point that I'm trying to make.
It's pretty spoopy, one way or another.
And then the one from Sky is just Cobalt curled up in a ball with a bunch of Mr. Mimes around him. Can we talk about? We talked about this the other day when we were talking, but we haven't talked about it on Twitter or any public forum. How like the fears were. So mine is something very specific that I can't talk too much about because it will come into play later. Shannon's is also like her being hunted. Like mine's like mine being hunted for some reason. Hers is hers being hunted for some reason. And Cobalt is just Mr. Mimes are scary. Like
and Victor's is kind of being hunted for some reason ish.
Yeah, it feels like our fears are like accusations, like we are being accused of things that like maybe we did or did not do, and that like.
And then sweet baby cinnamon roll Cobalt is just skirting Mr. Mimes. So we do have our first question from Twitter, and I would go ahead and post this to because I believe it's more of a question for Jake than it is for me. Shannon Maynor asks, first-time caller, long-time listener, why doesn't Rose respect the dib system? I'm asking for a friend.
So number one, while I was editing, I kept feeling really bad that I did that because I feel like I was being a bad host when I was just like, no, shut up this thing instead. But now I think it's a character trait that she just doesn't get the dib system because she has 3 older sisters. So it like, I guess it's if you don't take it now, you'll never get it kind of thing. So there's that. Otherwise, big shrug. I don't know.
So I think I have found the proper link for people to be able to use the Q&A system. So if you check,
Okay, can you just tweet that at me, at the PWT account, and I will retweet it. All right, let's see. Oh, hey, we're getting some more. Okay, good call, Ross Butler. So try the hashtag PWT United Live to keep the questions separate from the
main feed.
the main tag. So yeah, let's do that. PWT United Live. All right. I am retweeting it.
Try that link, guys. See if those questions work, or if it works. I clicked on it and it was like, be the first to ask a question. So
Okay.
hopefully that's right.
All right, I'm tweeting this now. Alan, thank you for being the tech guy here. Because I
welcome.
literally for like 13 minutes I was just staring at like me on camera, being like, I can't even see me. I'm a ghost now. Oh no, I died and I'm a ghost now.
What do? What do?
All right. Oops, I kind of messed up. That's okay. Guys, I don't know if you know this. I'm very good at this. I'm not seeing any questions. We do have another one.
For professional.
All right. Yeah, I'm a professional in like a literal sense, not in like a ethereal sense. In that, like, I don't know, heck if I know what I'm doing. I just have a microphone and I'm kind of funny. Hashtag kind of funny TM. Boom. Okay. So I retweeted it and I posted it for me in case people scroll by.
Hey.
Yeah.
It does work, Ross Butler, because we see your stuff.
Okay.
Yay. Thank you, Ross.
Here, we're answering this question now. Done.
Boom.
Currently answering. Okay, I think this works. It does. Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Figured that out. Okay, so we got another one. We got one from Sony, who said, "Is Rose as white as Jake is now? JK, are there any plans for other teams showing up?" I think that Rose is probably around as pale as me in normal life. Again, this is a more accurate representation. I'm still a ghost. I'm still a sheet boy, but I'm not literally blown out like Sheamus from the WWE. Okay. All right. Cool. So, anybody got any questions? Hit us up with them questions.
I am beholding your stuff, Ross. It is mighty.
Yes. Here, let me clear some of these out. Beholden. Beholden. Working for me too. So it is.
Shannon. The part two to that question.
Yeah. Any other team showing up?
Well, I will say this. Mild spoiler territory. Okay. But not really. Not really. Wait. Not really though. All I will say is that Kanto is very rocket heavy. I have plans beyond Kanto, and when things go beyond Kanto, other people and other teams and other adversaries and other recognizable faces may show up.
Okay. Can I tell you that I don't know any of the other teams? I know what they are. Like, I know the names of these other teams, but I don't like Generation 3. I think it's bad. I think it's not very fun, and none of the Pokemon are cool except for Zangoose. And like Mudkip's cute because he's an idiot, but like that's about it.
What my favorite team, and I can't remember, I want to say it's Team Plasma, is the one that's like, oh, nobody should fight with their Pokemon because making Pokemon fight is evil. Instead, you should give them all to us.
That's like Team PETA. That's and I don't mean like Katniss should get with PETA. I mean like
kind of clever.
It is. That's also kind of just a Rocket strategy, right? Like I feel like if Team Rocket had a better PR firm, like that would be their gimmick. You know?
I could see that.
All right. Okay. So also We have plans beyond Kanto. This is how my arms go. Also, I'm not used to having to worry about what I look like. Yeah, let me just Shingo.
We're gonna Shingo for a minute.
Boom.
Shingo, boom.
So everyone go listen to Sailor Business and tell them that the editing is fantastic.
Because it is.
That's what I do on the on the show. So we hadn't talked about it yet. We haven't really talked about like Beyond Kanto because, like, look, it took us 4.5 episodes to get out of Viridian Forest. So I'm not worried about anywhere past Kanto just yet. But I in the beginning I was like, oh, maybe we'll change every time. And I thought of, but now I think we're probably going to stick with our characters for a little while.
I would hope so.
Yeah, because I like everyone too much. But
I think the people around you will change. You know, but I would hope, because I think what we can replicate is the part about the anime that I liked was watching the same characters you're familiar with interacting with new environments, new locales, new ways to do things. And I think that's really interesting.
The only problem is we're gonna have to scale everything up because, like, by the time we get there, like, Bango will be like level. I mean, like, all right, look at the way we train. Like, Bango will be level 15, but you know, like 40 or whatever. But I was thinking of like what I could do after, like what characters I could do after. But now I'm like too into Rose. I think she's super fun to play. So we joked about it in the Safari Zone episode about when you're a Joy, you have to go catch a Chansey in the Safari Zone. That's like your final test. And I don't know what brought it on, but I just joked about like, oh, what if you caught like a Kangaskhan instead? Like, and so that was going to be my Johto character, was like a Joy,
nice.
a Joy that like had a Safari Zone Pokemon that wasn't a Chansey because like she missed or whatever. But now I think just like Rose for as long as possible. All right, we're getting nothing on Twitter. Nope. I've done all I can do.
I will say, talking about characters and stuff, and you and I have kind of talked about it, but to share a little bit with the listeners, I did not intend Victor to become what Victor has became. Victor was intended to kind of be a one-off character, just that guy you meet on Route 1.
Yeah.
But then he just kind of...
I made you bring him back.
He kind of morphed into something different. And now, you know, Biscuit is... Biscuit is ubiquitous at this point? Ubiscuitous? Ubiscuitous.
I hate that I said that. I hate that I said that out loud.
I approve.
This is what happens when everyone you know is a pun monster. I can't wait for you guys to hear episode... Was it 13? 13, because it's literally, if I had to guess a ratio, I would say 86% of it is rock puns. That's it. That's all the dialogue. 86% is rock puns. The rest of it, the other like what, 14% is me rolling my eyes. I was about to say,
is Rose complaining about the rock puns? And thank you, Ross. I agree.
Do not encourage me, Ross. Do not encourage this behavior in me.
One of us.
Never. All right, now I'm just spamming. Now I'm just spamming the Twitter feed. So that's what's up. So let's see. I'm trying to think of questions I can ask you. What? Oh, hey, we got it. We got one. Oh, it's Shannon. Okay, sweet. If you guys did, let me follow proper protocol. If you guys did Johto, what would you do to make it different, since you guys are already working from the national decks instead of exclusively the Kanto decks?
Ooh.
What I would do is get a haircut. I would get an important a TV Tropes important haircut, and I don't know. We didn't think of that. Also, can you guys hear the ice cream truck?
I can't hear the ice cream truck.
So that means that everyone can hear the ice cream truck. Hey guys, guess what? That's gonna be here for the next 6 hours. So like, sorry.
For Johto, the way I kind of foresaw doing Johto was in a bit of a different way than Kanto. Kanto, I feel like it's grown in these 20 years, but ultimately it's held on to a lot of tradition. So a lot of things are similar, you know, the roots are similar, the people, you know, all of that. Johto, I want to expand upon a little bit because I feel like it is a little bit more, there's a little bit more room for growth and a little bit more room for progress. So I'd want to bring some of that in.
Okay. That would be a good.
So maybe even adding like a brand new city or a brand new town that isn't featured. Kanto, I want to stick with the map because I feel like the space is kind of limited, but Johto, I feel like there's room to expand.
Yeah. Also with Kanto, we're even like kind of, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm gross. This is all usually cut out of the the regular podcast. With Kanto, we're even like kind of following Red's route. Like that, that's kind of the plan, is that we're like Red from the game, obviously, not Ash. He's a loser. We're not doing anything.
Although,
yeah, he has come up. We have some fun ideas for that. So I guess stay tuned. Let me finish tweeting this. And you don't have to ask questions. You can just like talk, and like this is like the easiest way to do it is just in all right, Shannon, I hope that is sufficiently answered your question. What are we going to do? Make it bigger.
Make it bigger, make it better.
I'm getting a haircut. You can hold me to that.
Well, that, and by the time Johto hits, Sun and Moon will have hit.
That is true.
So we'll be able to incorporate new things from that, which now granted, you know, as we move forward, hopefully new stuff will come out and we'll be able to incorporate some things.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about when Sun and Moon does come out. From what I understand, the Pokemon Tabletop United, which is the game that we play, it updated for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire within weeks. Yeah. So I'm really hoping that by the new year there will be an update to the game so that we can kind of sit down and go, okay, what do we want to use now? What do we want to save to later? That kind of stuff. But there are also specific things in my mind that I am not using that does appear later that I want to save. One of the things that you'll notice is, for example, Mega Evolution has not come up. There's a reason for that. I don't want that to be in quite yet.
Also, at this point in the game, we're all very weak. We are not ready for Mega Evolutions yet.
And Shannon also brings up a very good point. She says, also, planes and flying Pokemon do exist. So if anything, y'all can always take trips to other regions out of order. And I like that idea too.
Can we do a beach vacation before we go to Johto?
Sure.
Can we take a beach vacation to Alola before Johto?
Sure, absolutely. Hopefully, like I said, Sun and Moon will be out before we get there, and who knows? We may jump straight from Kanto to Alola if we really like that region and if there's super cool stuff going on down there. The nice thing about the stories that I have planned, because I do have multiple stories planned, for those of you who run or done any sort of game mastering, you know what I'm talking about. I have skeletal outlines everywhere. They'll work in a lot of regions. So my stories are not region specific, so we can just kind of go where we want.
Okay, cool. Ross says, that's what I was thinking as well. Some sort of airship type mechanic skipping around the world. That never crossed my mind. If I can part the kimono real quick, guys. The extent of how much I think about this is literally like, what is the funniest at any given moment and what will be funny later. That's it. That's all I think about is like, what is the most entertaining?
And I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum. I go, how deep can I make this go? Where can I leave my seeds?
Make Victor's backstory on accident?
Look, A, that wasn't an accident. B, no, because to me, I think the most interesting thing about Pokemon is when you scratch the surface, things can get dark relatively quickly. Also, Shannon, of course, we're going to remember you. She says, OMG, a beach vacation episode would be the best. Not saying that you should remember me, but remember me. And of course, we will.
Oh, there's no way Sarah's not coming on a beach vacation with us. There's just no way.
And I'm just having violent flashbacks to the Sailor Moon beach episode. Yeah. So
yeah, that'll be like a good 2-3 episode in between of whatever we do
nice
after.
interlude.
Yeah. Interlude is the word I was looking for. Thank you. We already accidentally planned out the first episode post Act 1.
Yep, the first act interlude. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, between Act 1 and Act 2 with Shannon, because it just spiraled out of control. And then there's probably the Act 2 and 3 interlude we might have a handle on.
Act 2 for sure.
Yeah, and then after Act 3, boom, beach vacation. Need to get an air horn on my phone. I've been meaning to do that for days. Let's see.
But no, like I was saying, to me, one of the neat things about Pokemon is that when you scratch the surface of this cute, plushy, saccharinely sweet world,
everything is horrible.
There are questions underneath it that, in my opinion, need to be answered.
Oh, yeah.
I want to answer these questions. So when we're talking about things, when we're bringing up Sierra's backstory, Victor's backstory, Rose, Cobalt, or even where did these gym leaders
have a backstory? Does he have a tragic backstory?
I wouldn't call it tragic, but I would assume he has one.
I think you're giving Josh a lot of credit, and since he's not here, I can say whatever I want about him.
That's rude. That's rude.
It's very rude.
That's rude.
It's in character though. That is the Jake Mation hashtag brand. Rose has some secrets that kind of are informed backstory, but her backstory is not very big. Alan, we have a shared document on the drive, not document, but folder with documents in it. And Alan gave each of us hey, what's your backstory? Josh and mine are blank. Oh, no, sorry, mine has a list of 3 things in it.
Josh is blank.
Josh's is blank. Shannon's is
3 or 4 pages long. And it's the greatest thing.
Now. It's a novel.
The greatest thing.
Pokemon World Tour Publishing will be releasing it this fall.
I do want to give huge shout outs to Shannon because she has helped me flesh out this world. One of the things that I don't think is shared is that we do have a group message. And so a lot of the time one of us will just put in, well, what about this? And it'll just explode and we'll all talk about it. And that as a game master really helps me flesh out the world.
Yeah.
From Ross, or do you want to read it?
Let me read it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm running the show here. Back off, buddy. No.
Whoa. Mr. Host man.
Plus this is for you anyway, so it'd be weird if you read it to you. Or not. Maybe that's just me overthinking it. Question for Alan. Oh, hold on. Following protocol again. Have you had any times in which the players did something that made you have to metaphorically toss your outline out the window? Do you try to steer them back or freeform it into the path they took? Alan, the first thing we did, I think, kind of did that. Not the first thing. No, yeah. Well, the second thing we did.
There you go.
Kind of did this.
Yeah, the very first episode, there was a moment of panic. And I'm really not sure that it comes across. I can hear it when I listen to the first episode. But in the very first episode, I think it's Rose goes, hey, what if we just hop on, isn't there a ferry that runs here and we can just go to Cinnabar Island?
Cobalt said that.
Excuse me. And at that moment, my eyes got wide. I got real quiet. And I started thinking to myself, oh, crap, I have nothing prepared.
And we do this.
Cinnabar. I have nothing prepared for anything. And so I frantically started Googling, started trying to create characters as quietly as I could. And then I think Rose was like, oh, no, man, let's just go up Route 1. It'll be fine. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, because I saw the panic in your eyes. I saw the terror, the unmitigated terror in your face. And I was like, no, he didn't plan to go to Cinnabar right off.
But to kind of answer the question, my philosophy as a game master is you don't tell a player no, because telling a player no is killing their creativity. So I try to be on my toes as much as possible, so that even if it's not something I have planned, I can work it into whatever I have planned. There's been very few times, with the exception of Cinnabar, I think there's been very, very few times where they've just kind of gone completely off the rails, even though I hate that term because I hate railroading a lot.
That suggests that there are rails, which
but they're not.
Really don't think there are.
And I really think a prime example of this is, I have an outline, and I have a physical outline of where I kind of want the story to go and what I want to happen and the beats that I want to drive home. And we were getting ready for, I think it was for Shannon's first or second episode. And Jake, out of the blue, about 2 days beforehand, messages me and goes, "Hey, I think we should get lost in the woods."
That was the second episode. That was right after the first episode. That was 10 seconds. That would have been episode 7, I think.
And I was like, sure, let's go with it. And I thought about it, and I was like, hey, can I make it a ghost story? And that's kind of how the Lost Woods evolved.
Yeah.
As it was just kind of a collaboration between players and GM, because it's as much their story. It is their story. I just kind of facilitate.
You are the world that the story takes place in, essentially.
Right. I'm the other voices.
And on that, episode 7 has been I think I'm going to say our best received episode.
Really?
We of all the tweets and the interactions from after an episode, because those are like my favorite. Like Shannon live tweets them right after the episode goes live. We get just a bunch of people talking about it, and it's super fun. It's one of the best part of my Wednesdays. But that one we got a lot of really positive comments. I think that's the one where Joe said when does Alan just get a job as a professional voice actor?
Which made me blush really hard, and it's making me blush right now.
It's okay, you can't tell. I feel like your lighting is just dark enough to balance out the fact that I am a ghost boy. Guys, I died 10 years ago this very night. Speaking of live tweets, you've got a new patron, says Ross Butler. I saw that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ross.
Oh, thank you, Ross. That's exciting.
Yeah, so I'll be sending you an email. I sent out the email for some patrons today, and Ross is in that tier. I don't want to blow up your spot or anything, but I will send you one by yourself later. So anyway, I feel like I had a point that I was talking about. A lot of good interactions from episode 7.
So actually, Scott has tweeted a question for us.
Oh, is that my little brother? Is that my,
yes,
my sweet baby brother?
Sweet baby brother.
Hey, buddy.
He said, so I totally picked my Pokemon based off of how small everyone else's Pokemon are. Alan, would it be ridiculous to have a Tropius with me? And because I ran out of space in a separate tweet, #PWT United Live. Absolutely not. I am a fan of Pokemon large and small. I really enjoyed, you haven't gotten, it has not been released to the world yet, but the episode with our second guest star, that person had
a bunch of giant monsters.
A bunch of giant monsters, and so I got to do a lot of roaring. And
if we can just part the kimono again real quick. Maybe they shouldn't have been giant monsters, but that was our first gym leader guest, and we kind of didn't know the rules. And Alan is I don't want to say a pushover. What's a gentle way of saying a pushover? He's very accommodating. How about that? It's not a bad quality to have, but in this one case, I got my butt whooped by some giant monsters.
But specifically about Tropius, I think it was on Twitter earlier today, we were talking about in the new Sun and Moon trailer, it shows not only the Stoutland that it showed before with people riding on it, people were riding on a Tauros, people were riding on a Lapras, and it had a saddle.
It had like one of those air hydroplane saddles that you it's like a seat.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
Well, that's your fave.
That is my number one not legendary child. My number one is Articuno. I love me that Ice Bird. But Lapras is my sweet baby boy that I can actually have an adventure with and not wait until the end of the game to get.
Right.
But I actually was talking about how flying on a Tropius would be cool because you would get free in-flight snacks because you could just reach up and pluck down one of his bananas. But apparently
Shannon said that is a no-go
a few times because it was like a no-no or whatever. But if they want to share, I mean, if it makes them happy to share, it's like Chansey. It makes them happy to give you their eggs that they have boiled for you.
Chansey's favorite thing is giving you her unfertilized eggs to eat. Her favorite thing, which is insane.
Think about that for a second, people.
Also, very nice of her. I love Chansey. Since we don't have any other pressing questions right now,
I do love doing the Chansey voice too.
Chansey is a good one. I love Chansey's. But the the thing that I love the most about Chansey is that, like, I wasn't huge on Chansey's before. I like them because I like that they have like so much HP, like just on like a weird mechanical level. They're like beefy, like brick houses.
Yeah, they're tanks.
Yeah, but the thing that I really like about Chansey's now is like their voice is so cute to me because it's just you doing a voice, and and like it's I don't know, like a lot of Pokemon have been like put into my favorites category because of World Tour United. It's pretty crazy. Like Lillipup, I didn't even know what a Lillipup was before, and now it's like the best.
I'm so happy that so many people love Biscuit as much as I love Biscuit. And I actually have a story about Biscuit, and I see that Sony has tweeted us a question. I'll tell this quick story about Biscuit, and then we'll go to that question. But the story of Biscuit's name was, I had come up with Victor. I had Victor. He was all fleshed out. I knew that he had a Lillipup, and I knew what was going to happen with it, but I couldn't come up with a name. And I work at a university, and I have some student workers. And I looked at my student workers, and I was like, guys, if you could name a puppy just a silly name, what would you name it? And one of the girls who was working with me, without missing a beat, looked at me and went, Biscuit. And I was like, yeah, that's Biscuit's name. So that's
perfect.
And it's just become this immortalized, wonderful thing. But Sony says, will all gym leaders be the same as the Gen 2 gyms, or will there be any crazy curveballs?
Well, they're all curveballs because
they're all curveballs.
The way we are doing gyms is until we run out, which I don't think will happen for Kanto if everybody who is a patron wants to do it, is anyone who's a $20 or above patron that's like our gym leader, because we did this once and then haven't found the time to do it again. We're going to be doing some more soon, where we made a gym. We just made up a gym. So we made up a rock gym, and it was real fun. We thought, oh, hey, let's do that for, like, we'll do an episode where we kind of design a gym around some things that people like. And so we're kind of taking that and scooting it over into World Tour United. So $20 patrons and above can be a gym leader. And they're the only guests who can be gym leaders. But so one of our first gym leader that wasn't blue, we've already recorded with, and it was real fun. And I think he sets like the perfect bar, he puts the bar in the perfect place of just like how to do it. I don't know how to say
how
it
to be
better.
a gym leader.
How to be a gym leader. So they'll all be his is similar to Brock's. What are you laughing at? What's going on?
Look, y'all, eat those weird bananas all you want, do you? But no, thank you. I don't trust fruit that grow off a creature. Sorry.
That's how I feel about eating Pokemon. Like, that's how, like, by I mean Rose, and I also mean Jake the person. I feel like that's the only instance in which I would be a vegetarian, is if all animals also fought to protect me.
But the other cool thing about the gyms, as we've been talking about them, and as I've reached out to some of the people that have expressed interest that are at that patron level, they do not have to stick to theme.
Yeah. So our first one did, and I don't want to we might have already said it. I just don't remember, but I don't want to spoil it or who it is or anything. But they stick to the
sort of theme.
It's because the Pewter City Gym, and it's pretty similar. It's of the same ilk. But the next one, the Cerulean one, I think is going to be very different, and I'm really excited for that.
Vermilion is going to be,
I don't know,
very different and super exciting.
I don't know anything
so
except
excited
for
about the Vermilion Gem.
all I know is who it will be. That's all I know, and I don't want to know anything else. I don't want to know anything that I
Well,
don't have to.
nope. I wouldn't tell you, but
because I like to stay as spoiler free as I can because I have to play the game, and if I know what's gonna happen, I feel like I can't do that as well because everything is mostly improv. Like I have a joke ready for when something happens that I have had ready since episode 2, and I hope that I get the opportunity to use it. But like other than that, I don't try to plan ahead. So if I know like what's happening or what will happen, I feel like that might affect how I improv, I guess. I feel weird saying that because like I'm not an improver in any way. But
well,
yeah,
that's basically what role-playing games are, is a giant improv game that also uses dice and has kind of structure-y rules. But as far as, talking about story and spoilers and all of that, the way I craft my outlines, they are very, very bare bones. They are, here I want this beat. Here I want this thing to happen. Here I want X character to show up. But the cool thing about working with such a diverse group, not just you two, but also, Shannon and our other guests and just the community in general, you guys are what put the flesh on the skeleton. You're the ones that kind of make the story happen and make the story more real, which I am forever indebted to, but I have a lot of fun with. So keep sending in suggestions and ideas. Hi, Joe. Hi.
hey,
Hi, Joe. But yeah.
Yeah, and I've said it to you. I feel like, and if I haven't, I'm gonna feel real bad in a second. But you're like a real good DM. You're like a really, really good DM. Like I have a ton of fun because when we first started this, let's go back. Join me, won't you? To the before times. To when
this was just an accident.
When this was like a lark at best, and so you tweeted at us. We didn't know you. We had talked about you. You were a patron at that time?
Yep, I was a patron at the time.
You were a patron already. And you said like, hey, here's this Pokemon game, this Pokemon tabletop game that I'll run if you want. And I love everybody that listens to us. I love our patrons, but you don't know, right? Like you don't know how someone is. So you tweeted that at us, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll think about it. Like, yeah, we'll see what happens. And so Josh and I got to talking about it. We're like, that would be real fun. And then we're like, maybe what we'll do is we'll do like a short run of this because Josh had this idea to DM maybe, and like that's probably not going to happen at this point. But because I can't imagine doing this without you anymore, Alan. But then we did like one like kind of hangout that was just like, let's just like talk about it, see what we can do. And it was like, no, this is a perfect fit. Like this fits great. This is like we hadn't met each other before then. The first episode was recorded after speaking twice. And I think you can tell if you listen to it that like pretty good chemistry. Yeah, pretty good chemistry.
And what's funny is, okay, so now let's flip the table. So when I sent out that tweet, when I sent out that tweet, I didn't expect you to respond. To be completely honest,
really?
Because I was like, I'm just this dude, whatever, they're podcasters, cool. I'll just put it in the aether.
Big important podcasters.
I'll put it in the aether, and we'll just go from there. And I was surprised when you replied to my tweet. I was a little bit more than shocked when you sent me an email. And I was nervous out of my mind the first time we talked. But it's like you said, we just kind of had this click that happened, and it's just like talking to old friends. And I really think that also comes across in our RPG, which we all sound comfortable, which I think is important.
And like I don't want to brag. I'm pretty good at breaking the ice. Like that's one of my few skills that I have, is that I can just kind of like push like weirdness aside, to be like, all right, let's make this not weird anymore. But like with Alan, I didn't really have to do that. And like with Shannon, I didn't have to do that because like the first time we talked to Shannon was the first episode, right? Like
Yes, it
the first
was.
episode that Shannon was in. And so like, and now you guys are like two of my closest friends.
It's
So
kind of
yeah.
awesome.
Speaking of, we got a couple things. People are talking. So Shannon says adding. Oh, again, let me try to follow this standard procedure. Adding to the flattery pile, Alan is indeed a great DM as both a listener and as a snarky jerk that has joined in on the fun. Well, I'm happy to hear you say that. First of all, as a listener, because I love that people listen to this show. The fact that anyone will listen to this awful voice that you're hearing right now at all is astonishing.
Oh, don't get me started. Do not get me started.
But the second thing is that like Shannon was the first episode of Sailor Business that I edited, and from there, because she listened to Sailor Business, and they said, this is Jake's podcast. Morphin Grid started listening to Morphin Grid, so we started talking because she was cool on there, and she had like the ballerest moment in the history of the series. And go listen to episode 42 of Sailor Business just to get like the coolest thing you'll ever hear. Which like to this day, I just can't get it. Like Shannon says she was super nervous about it. Like she's like 100 times that she was like just horrified of it, but like it is awesome. It is a Han Solo moment. And so I was like, yeah, she's cool. Let's talk. Let's be internet friends. And then now we're like just real friends. So that's pretty cool too.
It is.
And we got from Ross, don't discount the experience of RPGs as improv. It is 100% practice for improv, acting, character study, all that. It's just not as flashy as doing it in front of people.
That is so incredibly true.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things I think about GMing is you get to get out of your skin. You get to, try to be all of these other people. And, when you're playing a role-playing game, whether you're playing Dungeons and Dragons or you're playing PWT, it doesn't matter. It's this adventure that you get to have where you get to let a part of yourself free that maybe you couldn't before, or let a part of yourself be clever in a way that you've never been before. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's surprising, like the amount of times where I have surprised myself. I didn't mean to say surprised twice in the same sentence. Sorry, guys. But I like you'll be like playing and like a thing will happen and you'll be like, oh, let's just go with it. Like the selfie thing, like which is like my favorite thing to do, was like just a spur of the moment goof. And I was like, yeah, that'll be funny. And then I was like, now it's just gonna be Rose's deal. Like now her deal is to take selfies with everyone for her Pokedex. So yeah, it is pretty crazy.
Kind of on that note, Sony on Twitter asks, has Cobalt and his quirks had any impact on Rose's personality or character?
I don't know. I wish you were more specific with quirks because there are so many.
So many.
So there, in episode 9, there's a moment that maybe you've seen the hashtag floating about, hashtag friendship jerky. That happens in episode 9. Hey, what's weird is that was the reaction in the episode too. You have not seen weird quirk until you hear the friendship jerky story. And God, just what a terrible combination of words that is. But my roommate's laughing at me. But I don't know if they've affected, because originally I was gonna be Shannon, don't encourage this. Like originally Rose is gonna be like a troublemaker and like and you can see that in the first episode where she's like climbing on statues and like just kind of being really like not caring of people's personal space. And we haven't really got back to that yet. And I'm going to try to, because I feel like when Sierra comes in, and I can't say too much about this because, there are spoilers, spoilers abound. But when she came in there, like, I accidentally kind of like rotated Rose a quarter turn to be good cop, but like on accident, and like Rose hates that, so like that's also part of it. But as for Cobalt, there have been some people. There have been a couple people who are already doing the Robalt watch. They are on Robalt watch, and I think that Cobalt is absolutely leaning away from it, and I think that Jake the role player is leaning into it. I don't know where Josh lands or where Rose lands, but I know where Cobalt and Jake stand. There's some good moments coming up. There's a lot of good stuff coming up as far as like how we interplay. I hope that answers the question. It's another thing, get on audio medium. I struggle a lot. I don't know. I just genuinely don't know. Let's see. Let's clear some of these out. Tropius Bananas, done. Talked about it. Magnificent Beard, check. Friendship Jerky, gross. Get out of here. And then, this is from a long time ago. Shannon says, look, I like backstory.
So here's the thing.
We know.
Here's the thing about backstory. I live on backstory. Because the thing is, like, I know that 90% of the backstory and stuff that I have written, I have a whole file, like on a Google Drive, I have an entire file on Victor. I know who his parents are. I know what they're doing. I know what their professions are. I know family relations. I know why he is the way he is, what's going on. I don't know if any of that is actually going to ever come to light. But the fact that I have it makes it easier for me to play the character, because I would know, based on this situation, how is this more fleshed out character going to react to things. So to me, backstory is my life's blood.
I'm kind of the opposite. I don't hate backstory. I'm not like death to all backstory. But for like as the role player, I try to have like an idea, but I don't, again, because I don't like having stuff that I feel like I'm best when I'm just like in the moment. So I try not to have too much that could like weigh down anything. So like, this is for eight of you. Yeah. Hey, 8, what's up? 7. They didn't like me calling them out. I'm sorry.
Oh,
anyway, this is for like you guys, and you gotta be cool. You gotta promise not to tell anyone on Twitter. So the episode 8 that just came out, hopefully you've all listened to it. That Rose's fear is like pretty important. That's like the biggest thing that I cling to. Like that's my, I guess, like anchor point. It's like, this is the one thing about Rose that like doesn't change. Like this is the one thing that I will not move around, because like it's very important that it happened. It's very important, like the act of it and what it was. But also there's like there's a lot of secrets about, like, she's got 3 older sisters. They all have names. And again, this is for real. Don't tell anyone. This is for people who see this only. Rose is not Rose's first name. So yeah, Rose has a secret first name that she doesn't like and doesn't go by, and you will find it out because one of her older sisters refuses to call her Rose and calls her by her real name. But that's all I'll say on it. And again, if you tell anyone, I'll know. There's only 6 of you that heard it, so all right, I'll find you.
Well, we have another addition to from hashtag PWT United Live. Scott Mason says, wait, so you were going to be a troublemaker, but then became an older sibling? How weird. It's like you've done that before.
Oops.
Oops.
So that again is my little brother, Scoot, who is going to be playing with us pretty soon.
That's going to be fun.
I'm excited about that.
Because we've had some ideas, and I think you're going to like them.
Yeah. So to expound upon that, yeah, I was kind of a dink a lot, and then I had a little brother. I was still a dink once Scoot was born, because we're 7 years apart. Is it Jenny? Originally, okay. Joe, that is Joe, right?
Yeah, that's Joe.
Okay. Originally, her name was Jenny. But Josh went with Cobalt, which is a color, and I was like, I need to go with a color. for the theme of it. So I went with Rose, which is a shade of red, because Cobalt is a shade of blue, and then symmetry, and then like the whole like red Oni, blue Oni. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that trope. That's also kind of what that is, Alan.
Why don't you explain the trope for those that may not have heard of it?
Okay. So the red Oni, blue Oni is it's sort of like the 5-man band, and then you pare that down to 4, and it's the 4 humors, and then you pare that down, and it's the ego, super ego, id, and then if you pare that down to 2 people, it's red Oni, blue Oni, which is like one's a hothead, one's more calm, one is more outspoken, one is more reserved. In Cobalt and Rose's case, the traits flip back and forth. So like Rose is more impulsive on a show-offy scale, whereas Cobalt I don't think likes to get in trouble. But Rose is just so used to being in trouble that it doesn't matter anymore. And then like in times like if you like in the in episode 8, there was the like the whole fear stuff and the ghost stuff, and Cobalt is like like oblivious to it, and Rose is like super in the moment and super terrified because she's not super into, like, she doesn't believe in the supernatural or anything. So when she confronted that, it was like, uh-oh, it's here now. But yeah, back to what was I feel, oh god, this happens too much to me. Where was I? Jenny. Originally, yeah, her name was going to be Jenny. And then, so I changed to Rose to match with Cobalt. And then Alan gave a naming convention that we're not going to say, but there is a naming convention to the Jennies. And so I followed that. Again, guys, be cool. And then back to Scoot. Yeah, so when I was a teenager, I was the worst because all teenage boys are the worst by trade. I was a pretty bad one. Scoot's 7 years younger than me. Well, 7.5 years younger than me. And he was just the biggest, like the worst little brat forever until I graduated. And then now we're like, best friends. He's my dude. But yeah, I kind of default to older sibling. I've always been like super nervous about Scoot. Like we went to Disney World and I was horrified that he was going to get lost. Like genuinely horrified. I was 11. He was like 4. So like that kind of came through accidentally in Victor, in how Rose deals with Victor.
And to be completely honest, parts of Victor, I'm the baby in my family. I have a sister who's 2 years older than I am.
6'8" baby.
A 6'8" baby, a very large bearded baby. And that's actually I grew taller than my sister right as I started my teenage years, and I was no longer her little brother. I was her baby brother.
That's a Scoot is. He is bigger than me, so he's my baby brother.
So I became the baby brother, and so a lot of that is in Victor. A lot of that innocence. I like to think I wasn't as naive as Victor is, but his naivety has purpose, and I'm kind of excited for the reason behind his naivety to be shown, and that's coming, not soon, but it's coming.
Okay, we just got
in addition,
we got one from Shannon. We got one from Ross that was first. Viewer 8. This is back when Viewer 8 dipped again. Man, just stay. It's cool here. Viewer 8 was like, no, don't. Sanctuary. Oh, and they're back. Sanctuary. I really hope you're referencing the Page Master with that, Ross, because that's where my mind goes to.
That would be the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I'm pretty sure it's the Page Master when horror is being pulled. Guys,
that came from the Hunchback.
Anybody?
Of Notre Dame. That's the reason why he.
No one's even heard of that person, Alan.
So Shannon says, speaking on behalf of Sierra's backstory novel, I forget things a lot. I will remember saying cool to Chris Sims for the rest of my life. But if I don't write down Sierra why Sierra names Pokemon after directors, I will forget. Also secrets. Wink.
I didn't know that was an in-character thing. Now I'm excited. Now I hope that comes to light. Yeah, the cool moment. Again, I'll just let you guys listen to it. It's in the first like 5 minutes of Sailor Business, episode 42. But yeah, I am have become forgetful after doing so many podcasts, because you can only watch and analyze so many episodes of Power Rangers before you have to literally jettison memories from your head in order to make room for new stuff.
Please tell me you've forgotten most of the Vision Quest, because God knows I already have.
Oh no, sorry, that stuff's there forever. Oops. Oops, all berries. I live with that now.
I ejected that as quickly as I could into the sun.
The Vision Quest is so bad. And the worst part is that like it's on one level.
It comes back up.
It comes back up. I think the worst part is that on one level, there's a million levels to how bad the Vision Quest is, but one level, you're like, oh, they hired Native Americans. Oh, cool. They did that. They did one good thing. And then you're like, oops, no, the rest of it's the worst. What are you doing here?
So let me give some backstory, and then we'll stop talking about Power Rangers, I promise. I am part Native American. My great-grandmother and great-grandfather were on a reservation. Like, we went to powwows. Like, we were really involved in the culture. And so when I was a kid and we saw, you know, Tommy going on the Spirit Quest, it was the first time that I can remember being so disappointed in a show, because they just got so much wrong and so much they just didn't care. And I remember going to my father and being like, Dad, what did they do? And he was just like, son, people just don't understand our culture, and that's okay. And I know that some of you are looking at me going, but you look like a Viking. How are you Native American? My sister looks like Pocahontas. She got all the Native American. I got all the Scandinavian. So
in Power Rangers defense, in their tiny defense, at least like everything on Power Rangers, they didn't mean to do bad.
That is true. That's very true. It was not a purposeful.
But I kind of get the feeling, again, this is the last to talk about before we go back to Pokemon, but I feel like whoever was it, like in the writer's room, whoever pitched that idea was like, hey, you guys seen all those Westerns that also got it wrong?
Yep.
That's probably right. Let's go with that. We have to write 11 episodes today.
Shrug.
But
yeah, so tying that kind of segue back into Pokemon World Tour United, I am really actually very interested in the supernatural elements of the Pokemon world, because, you know, there are things that are in the game, but they're never touched on. For, like, let's say, for example, Hex Maniacs and mediums and people that have psychokinetic powers, and no one talks about it.
Yeah, the psychics, like at least in one of the generations, they were sitting there and there were Pokeballs floating around them.
Yep.
And that was just fine. Like, that was a totally cool thing to do. I am interested in that because I made the conscious decision during character creation that Rose didn't believe in that bull honky. Tauros honky. That like that.
Or he'll take honky. Either one, I think, would work.
Depends. And that like that was just not like real. Even though like there are ghosts, they're ghost Pokemon. There are psychics, there are psychic Pokemon. Like the Pokemon themselves are all kind of weird, but like anything outside of that that's occult or weird, Rose is just like, nah. And then like we deal with it in episode 7. And so like I was trying to play like really terrified of it and really shaken the whole time. I hope that came off and not just like Jake doesn't know what to say, because I don't think Rose would have known what to say.
We got another tweet, and this one I think is kind of aimed at both of us, but more towards you. First off, it's Sony again.
Okay.
Power Rangers getting something wrong? That's unheard of. LOL. Will Rose's father show up?
Okay, so I don't know.
I think it's safe to say that there's been discussions about.
We have
Rose's
talked about
father.
it. The second act interlude will touch on it, but I don't even really know, because that's the weird thing about Jennies, right? Is that they all look the same. They're all identical. So to me, the idea is that like the Jenny genetic. Everyone make your Jennyetics jokes. Go ahead. Anybody? Ross? Alan?
Hey,
everybody?
you did it first.
Everybody? I'm trying to get out of the way.
You are becoming
getting them
the
out of the way.
monster that you so despise. You are becoming the thing that you hate.
You either die a hero, or live long enough to see yourself become a pun monster.
Join the X-Men. Join the pun men. It's fine.
No, thank you. Like the Jenny genetic is like so strong that it boots out everything else. So like, I don't know if Rose's dad is the same as her sister's dad's. I don't know if we all have different dads. I don't know if they're all the same. But he's not around, obviously. I think that's kind of been made pretty clear because Rose doesn't talk about him. But I can't say anything else without, tipping my hand. But there have been discussions, and if he shows up, he will. I mean, I feel like that's the thing. That's definitely a thread. That's definitely something out there.
When we've done our work well enough, we no longer have to. You do it for us. Hashtag JennyNetix. Thank you, Ross. That is exactly what I was trying to imply.
Oops, it's gone. Gone forever.
You monster. Oh, you monster.
Yeah, so
science. You monster.
You monster. God, Portal is such a good series of games.
Yes, it is.
Let's see if we got anything else. Nope. Doesn't look like we got anything new.
What about our questioners? Y'all have any other questions?
You guys got anything for us?
Come on. I like answering questions. This is fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lie, I was super nervous about this, but I've kind of gotten into it and it's fun.
I was only nervous when I was like, this isn't what I wanted. When I tried to set up a live stream, and it was like, yeah, you gotta encode your video real quick. And I was like, no, what? I just want to do a hangout. And they're like, you're not in the right place for that, dude. So there was like a 6-minute panic window until I figured this out. And then we screwed up the first time. And then here we are. So yeah. So anyway, questions. Mo questions. There's 8 of you now. Hey, number 8, you're new. What's up?
Hey,
what's your question? You got to be here for a reason. Oh, there he goes. There they go. I don't know who it was.
Well.
I don't know what the...
I'll feed her saying goodbye.
That's it.
I hate to go and leave this pretty sight, I think is the next lyric.
Sure. So Alan, let me get a question. Oh,
when life gives you Tropius bananas, you don't make smoothies. Make that Tropius take his banana back. Give the bananas to your scientists and make them make explosive bananas. Then you burn their house down with the bananas.
God, Cave Johnson is just the greatest.
And J.K. Simmons was perfect.
Oh, he's so good. He's good in everything. He's good. I can't wait to see him be super jacked. Jim Gordon. That's the only reason I'm seeing that train wreck of a movie. And Christopher Hivju is in it, who plays Tormund Giantsbane on Game of Thrones, who is like my favorite. That guy is so good. I want to be that dude's best friend. I just want to like hang out with that guy. But I had a question.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask. So we're in Pewter now.
Yes.
We're in the what's been your favorite moment from the aired episodes and then vaguely from the unaired episodes?
Okay. I think from the aired episodes. I really liked the moment with the ghost in the most recent episode once he was being put to rest. I really thought that was a cool moment. As far as funny moments go, I think my favorite was definitely Magikarp to the face.
That was a good one.
That was phenomenal. I also... And this is, again, just because I love doing it. I love the call with Cobalt's mom.
That was real fun. It was like 86 minutes too long, maybe.
I really enjoy voicing Chartreuse. She is a little bit my mom. She is a little bit kind of stereotypical housewife.
Yeah.
But I like Chartreuse a lot. favorite moment from something that hasn't been aired yet.
You got to be super vague about it.
I got to be super vague about it, but it is the end of episode 9. Basically, there's a moment where things drastically change. And from that moment to the end is just probably my favorite thing we've recorded thus far.
Yeah, that's a real good one. Mine, if I can answer my own question, from the aired episodes. Oh, I don't know. It's a hard one because there's a lot of good stuff.
There's a lot of good. Not to toot our own horn, but
yeah, like we have a pretty all right podcast. It's the Hey Jake and Josh Network's most downloaded thing is well the most, I guess, frequently downloaded, because I feel like the first episode of the Morphin Grid probably got some up on you on it. But let's see. I don't know. There's so much good. I like in the first episode, when I decided to go home.
That was another thing that was unscripted.
Yeah, and then so there was like a tiny panic for there, but you just rolled with it. And then we got in because I was like, I need to say goodbye to my mom, because like as a real person, I wouldn't leave a place without saying goodbye to my mom first. Like, I wouldn't go off on a journey before saying goodbye to my mom. That's crazy to me. So I was like, yeah, we got to say goodbye to our parents. So I was like, oh, and I got a pack, and our backpacks are infinite. We made that decision day one.
They're all Hermione's bags.
Yeah, they're all Hermione's undetectable extension charm bags. And so we got there, and I was like, oh, what would be really boring is like me packing and also just like saying goodbye. And so like I'm gonna go upstairs and leave Cobalt down here to deal with my mom while I pack. And I think that was real fun. And I like doing that. I like when I can just go into the background, because we did it on the phone call. And we did it again in another phone call that comes up. If you go to the Pokemon World Tour United Twitter, there's a picture of Alan, the face he makes when he's being Chartreuse. It's the best. And then from the unaired stuff, I really enjoyed the last one we recorded, episode 14. At the end, Josh is like, hey, we didn't roll anything this episode, right? And we're like, no, I don't think we did. But it was like real fun the whole time. But also the end of episode 9, I think, is like really great for a lot of reasons. Because like there's still funny stuff. Like I feel like we accidentally figured out a good balance, like how to balance like the goofs and like the emotion. So like there's a moment between two characters, I won't even say who it is, that like gets like kind of somber for a second, and it's like, oh, like these are real people. Yeah, like, oh, gotcha, tricked you, you've been pranked. Now you're feeling feelings. So look for that in the near future.
We actually have a lot of stuff from Twitter right now.
Oh, do we?
Which is super exciting. We'll start with Hoops, actually, who says it's so weird to see y'all talk.
Me too.
Thanks.
I think that too.
Kind of odd to do this, not gonna lie. Then we'll start back down with Sony. Can you two show up and just force puns into Rose's head sporadically, if not forever?
Never.
I'm actually going to use this to piggyback a little bit and talk a little bit about Mystic Pokemon and Legendary Pokemon. I actually do have plans for several. Not all.
Puns? What? Why are you planning this? Did I hear the question wrong?
I'm just saying that I have plans to use Mystic and Legendary Pokemon over the course of the different arcs. So while I'm not going to say anyone in particular, simply because again, spoilers, but be on the lookout, and some things may not be as they appear. Then Joe Hatfield, Joe says, obligatory wrestling / Pokemon question, best Pokemon tag team names.
Oh boy.
Well, okay. The Mewtwo's, to me, would be a really good place to start.
Yeah.
You know much more about this than I do.
I do. Okay, so here's the thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to be like super callous about it, but like pro wrestling's like
that's my thing.
Business. Yeah. So if you had a rock type and a sock, the Pokemon sock, the rock and sock connection, obviously. Named after the McFoley and Rock tag team, the Rock and Sock, but it would be like a
Well, would it be that new ghost fairy type that pretends like it's Pikachu? Because it looks kind of like a weird sock puppet.
No, the Pokemon like SAWK, like it's like a karate dude. Like,
got you. Okay, yeah.
The Rock and Sock connection. I don't know. I haven't thought of a lot of Pokemon tech news. Can I tell you though, Alan? Can I tell him? Can I tell him the wrestling? Can I? I'm taking your hands as a yes.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some wrestling stuff coming up in Pokemon. Some Lucha Libre stuff.
Lucha Libre, thank you.
Lucha Libre, yes. So there's that.
So be excited.
Be excited. It's gonna be in a while.
Matt asks, here's a question: What would y'all like to see from future guests?
Oh, that's a really great question, especially because Matt is gonna be a guest.
It's gonna be a guest.
Yeah. So that is a very good question. So what I would like is once Sky's episodes come out. Oh, I can't edit that out. Oops.
It's okay. I think you'll be okay with us spoiling. Yeah.
I mean,
we tweeted about it.
What am I doing? Jake,
I don't know.
What are you doing? Get your life together. So yeah, Sky is our guest coming up, and he was really great and really fun. And he came back again because we had to finish up some business in Pewter. So yeah, Lucha. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be some good stuff. I'm like, for an aside, I'm taking over the reins a little bit in that, like, I'm going to plan out a lot of the story, like the weird backstory, and give it to Alan to like interpret, because like Lucha Libre. What?
No, I was just teasing you. Yes, of course you're going to, because you know all about that stuff. And I know.
We talked about a little bit of it. It's because it's none of the stuff. It's just the backstory stuff and like how the Lucha Libre is going to work. I have a lot of ideas about, because I'm kind of obsessed with it right now. But back to guests. So we got Sky, and he it was tweeted. Thank you, Ross. So what we're going to be doing is like what I hope to be doing is like everyone kind of follows that pattern of like of how Sky was in the episode, because like the only thing I want is like to be cool, right? Just be cool. Everybody be cool. Because like this is a narrative. It's a collaborative narrative. So like everyone should be having fun. So that's priority. But also like there is, for guests who are here for an episode, Josh and I are here for the duration. Like this is like the Rose and Cobalt story. And so like things need to be a little in service of that. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be able to like whatever you do, like as long as you're having fun, that's good for me. Like I'm happy about that. But like your choices can't be like stupid and like, you know, like detrimental to the story. But I don't think anybody that would come on, anyone that listens to our show, I don't think anyone would do that. We got a lot of cool listeners. But yeah, think you need to be able to like move the story forward in like positive ways. And that's all I'm looking for. You know,
kind of along those lines, for me, I'm looking for energy. I'm looking for fun. One of the cool things that we did with Sky's character is he sent me messages about, well, here's why I'm here. This is why I'm doing things. Is this okay? And my answer to him and my answer to you and anyone who wants to do a guest spot is your backstory is yours.
Yeah.
Let me know what it is, because if there are very few things that would step on toes, but if there are, I can then gently nudge them away and kind of reroute.
Yeah.
Not necessarily overwrite, but say, well, instead of this, let's do this. That will get us the same answer. So I am all about you coming on with a fully fleshed out character. I'm all about you coming on playing you and flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
It's however you want to do it. It's just, again, be cool, be energetic, and be fun. Have fun.
Yeah. Another like really good example, obviously, of Shannon, because she's the guest that like everyone's heard. And like every single time, it's a ton of fun. But like the way like Sierra's character is a jerk that like is out for herself a lot of the time, and like that's fine. I don't want it to be easy for Rose and Cobalt. I want things to be fun, but like I find challenge fun. I find like complications fun. So
We will be excited to have you. Joe says, fun, better start putting together an email to jump on the show as a patron. We would love to have you. One of the things, though, we have talked about, and I think it would be safe to share, is for people maybe not on the gym leader level who may still be interested in doing something with us, maybe doing smaller roles. We're kind of in discussion between myself, Jake, and Josh exactly how we want to do it. But I just will say that those are being discussed. So
we have a little bit of an idea, not necessarily a plan. Also, like, it's getting dark out now, so like you can see me. I'm just noticing that I'm not a ghost anymore. Good on me. Be cool, energetic. Oh boy, oops. No, Shannon, you were great. Like that.
I was about to say, no, Shannon,
here's what happened. You were sick for most of it. But episode 9, I started editing episode 9. It is like a ton of fun. So and I'm very excited about people hearing it. Where was I? Oh, the people who want to come on the show. Yeah, we have this idea for like smaller, like characters that just kind of like are NPCs essentially, but like with the possibility of being recurring and stuff. Like Shannon being our first guest was a weird like not example because that's going to be atypical. Like we wanted to play with Shannon. We wanted to have her on. And so we had her on and we're like, we're still in the woods. You got to come back again. And then that happened for 4 episodes. Because sometimes you get stuck in the woods. Look,
you never know.
They're big. They're spoopy. It happens. But as far as like, being a multi-episode NPC, like don't expect that because like wrangling schedules is tricky enough. But like that, random like one-off NPC, like maybe you'll be a trainer that locks eyes with us, so we have to have a battle, or maybe you'll be like someone hanging around town. Like I think it's a really good way to like come on, like do a guest spot, and then you can go, and then like like you have impacted it, and you can come back later when schedules permit, and like depending on what the story is. So that's kind of the skeleton of the idea right now.
We actually have another question from Hoops, which we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, but we can definitely go over again. When the current main arc is resolved, will you stick with the same characters or change for new region? Will you continue that long? To address the last first, I cannot speak for Jake and Josh, but for me, I have plans well beyond Kanto. I have plans to do this as long as they will deal with me.
Oh, that's you're stuck, buddy. You're for life, for life. So,
but
oh gosh,
yeah.
Speaking of chances, that reminded me of the selfie I took with the Chansey recently.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Shannon, we gotta get you to post the Pokestagram template so like anyone who wants to can have that like ready to go, because those are like the greatest things is are first of all, Shannon, since I got you here and you can't like be like no stop, like every piece of art is like the greatest, like the absolute greatest, and it like consumes my day how awesome they are.
And that's from everybody too. I can't tell you the number of times, because hey, spoiler alert guys, I save your fan art. And I will go into the folder that I save the fan art, and I'm just like,
I have my background is Rose and Cobalt. It's the non-GIF version of the GIF. That's my background on my computer, my laptop. And then I have anything that comes up in the group chat, I'd screenshot, so I just have it in case I need it. It's a lot of great stuff. And her comics that she's done are like so
the Private
good.
Sci comics,
so good.
So let's talking about another thing that I am super proud of and love to do. I am really glad that people like Private Sci and Watson. I was honestly a little worried about introducing a couple of Pokemon NPCs that can't talk. And I was like, well, I want them to have personality. So I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, well, what if it was a detective? And at first it was just going to be a duck detective. And then I was like, no, but he needs a partner. Make it a Voltorb, because Psyduck has the ability Damp. and that prevents anything from using self-destruct. So Voltorb can explode.
Yeah, which is a great dynamic. Oh, you get to show them? Yeah, show the people. Show the people.
So I picked up this little guy from like Amazon, and I was like, okay, he's super cool. This is Private Sai. I'm going to eventually make him like a little trench coat. But he needed his buddy. So I actually hand sew. This is Watson. And so they sit kind of like this with his angry eyebrows. And they sit together and they're buddies. So this is Private Sai and Watson. So I'm actually very proud, even though he looks kind of like an angry tomato and less like a sphere.
He looks like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, if anyone remembers that TV show.
I do. So.
But I think it's super great. Back to
he also has a cool magnifying glass. But.
Oh, nice. It's a little big. It's a little big for him.
It is, but whenever he holds it, it kind of works because he holds it like on the side of his
head. He is an idiot, so that does work.
He is an idiot.
Back to the
God, you're such my sweet baby idiot.
The comic that Shannon did of him taking the detective test. There is almost nothing better in this world than him just like just sliding it up. Be like, is this good? Did I do good? And she's like, you did great. And he just throws his hands up. He's like, yeah, sign up.
And what's funny is I read that in Shannon's voice. I read, you did good, buddy. I read it in her voice, and it just makes me so happy. Like, I can't not smile.
Shannon just said, what you can't see is me clutching my face and looking embarrassed. You nerds are a snake eating its own tail. I'm going to keep doing this as long as y'all, that hurts to say out loud, keep loving it because I love it. And when you love it, I feel like I'm not being a jerk. You're never a jerk. In fact, there have been a couple times where like I feel like I accidentally like stifled how much of a jerk Sierra could have been. And I like in editing, I was listening to it. I was like, oh, Jake, go back and undo that sentence. Like, just don't say that. So, like just as often as you want to be a jerk, we will have you.
Also, slightly off topic. When you said it hurts, was it to say y'all?
Yeah, that's like the dumbest word. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like it's a fake made up nonsense word.
Except that it's a contraction for you and all, so you can
get right. And that would be cool if anyone from the South used it appropriately, exclusively. But y'all is singular and plural, and all y'all is the dumbest phrase in the world.
Look, no, you can have multiple sets of y'all. So if there is a y'all group and
one y'all, you all is a single thing.
All y'all is that group. All of that particular group, all y'all. It is an extension.
Would you say out loud, all of you all? No, you would not.
I would say all y'all, because you don't need of you. That's pointless. It's redundant.
Exactly.
All y'all.
All is redundant, and y'all, it's already there.
Of you is redundant. All y'all is not redundant. Thank you, Ross.
Southerners, you freaking Southerners. And then I get crap when I say roof instead of roof.
Because it's roof. The thing above your head is
no,
roof.
It's a roof. It's the same thing. It's just I'm using the O's from book instead of the O's from food.
Rough is what a dog says. It is the feeling of textured sandpaper. A roof is the thing that's
I'm not saying rough. That's a different word. I'm saying
but you are saying rough.
No, there's...
Rough is spelled R-U-F-F or R-U-O-G-H, not R-O-O-F.
R-O-O-F is the rough.
Welcome to Arguing Semantics with people that play Pokemon. Oh, God. But yeah, so yes, the power of editing is a magical thing.
Oh, it's wonderful, especially because everybody's on their own track. Good. It takes longer, but like, oh, it's so nice to be able to like, hey, everyone stop talking. Let me move Josh over here and Alan over here and Shannon over here. So like everyone says the thing they wanted to say. And it wasn't just like all at once.
And Joe, not all of us can be awesome and, be from Britain and, be all fancy and posh. Some of us have to deal with the bastardization of English as it came to the U.S. and was changed by other languages and peoples. So, it's a thing.
Yeah, South did a number on it. I'm real sorry, buddy. Oof, bunch of jerks. Shannon says, it is the dumbest word. I've just been here too long and can't escape. And then I'm a northerner in the South. Save me. Everyone gets mad because I drink Pepsi and I'm in Atlanta.
So shall we talk about soft drinks?
Do you? Because it is not okay what you call soda. What you call soda is not an okay thing to call soda.
Sodas are called Cokes.
They are not Cokes.
Yes,
Coke
they are.
Brand.
If you tell me
that is a brand.
You say, Alan, go get Cokes or go get a Coke from the store or go get Cokes from the store. My answer to you will be, okay, what kind?
And that should refer to zero, vanilla, or with lime.
It refers to Coke, Sprite, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, you name it. If you go to a restaurant and you say, I want a Coke, 9 times out of 10, the waiter or waitress is going to be like, okay, what kind? And then you specify.
And then what you do is you throw her little pad in the air and be like, why do you even have a job here if this is what we're doing? What are we even doing here? If a Coke, that's so inefficient. That's the most inefficient way to order a soda. Ever.
Oh.
But the South did figure out sweet tea. So I'm not giving you a pass.
Praise the Lord.
You did get one check in the good column. That's it, though.
Especially when you add a little mint to it.
Not in the mint. I put lemonade, you know.
So you're an honored plumber guy. Anybody read The Wheel of Time know about mint tea? But no.
Nope.
Mint tea is actually bad in The Wheel of Time. It can take away powers.
Good to know. I'm going to turn my light on real quick. Hold on one second. Alan, entertain the folks.
Okay. So I'm not seeing anything from Twitter at the moment. Does anyone have questions that they'd like to put in the Q&A box?
Okay, good. He's bombing.
Alan, you're immediately wrong on beverages when y'all ruin tea. Okay, look, I enjoy hot tea just as much as everyone else. I really do. But the thing about it, Joe, I live in Alabama, where it's pretty much summer all year, and then we have like 2 months of chilly, and then it goes back to being summer. So you can't really drink hot drinks all the time. You got to go with the cold drinks.
Not true.
So then we took
I had tea this morning. It's 106 out.
Yes, as a breakfasty thing.
What's the matter? It's still hot. Texas is just so hot all the time.
Well, no, yes, obviously, yes. No, I feel you. 100% humidity, 100% of the time, I feel you. So
okay. So do you guys remember when this is a Pokemon?
Yeah, I know, right? So talking about Pokemon stuff, let's see. What other stuff can we go over about United?
Anybody have any questions? We need more Q's to A. You can either hop in if you're watching and you haven't gotten into the question thing. There's a link on the Pokemon World Tour Twitter, or you can tweet us with the hashtag PWTUnitedLive or PWTUnited. At this point, I don't care. Either one's fine.
Yeah, I'm checking both.
Yeah.
Shannon says, if I was there, I'd have your Southern back, Alan. I am not from here, but here is home, and I'll allow how dumb we talk. Thank you. And honestly, you know, to be completely honest, when I first joined up to do this podcast, I thought about that, and I was like, I need to measure my speech. Like, I need to not use y'all as much. I need to not say ain't. I need to, not talk a certain way. But then, no, that was before I ever met you. And then whenever I started talking to you guys, I was like, oh wait, no, I don't have to do that at all.
Yeah, no, that's duh. Because here's the thing about podcasts, right? It's like a weirdly personal, like thing. Like this is like I'm never talking to two people at one time. Like right now we are, obviously, but like when we're on, like when you listen to a podcast, usually it's just you. So like we're talking to one person at a time. And I feel like if we all just had newscaster accents, like that would be the most boring garbage ever. And also like you can't stop me from saying rough. So, you know, or wicked or pissa. I don't say pissa too often because that is literally a nonsense word to everybody else. But even if you go outside of New Hampshire, really.
To give you an idea, though, one last thing on language. For a lot of people make fun of Rogue in the 90s anime for being like fake Southern because of one specific thing she says. There's a quote from her that says, you look about as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. That was my great-grandmother's favorite saying. And so whenever she said it on the show, I like grabbed my grandmother and I was like, Grandma Robinson, look, she said the thing you said. So no, that wasn't.
Back when you were
Her
a wee
accent
baby.
was bad, but the dialogue itself kind of rang true.
No one does the North really well because so why are the new Pokemon weird? Last time I played was Gold for reference. Oh, dude, get yourself a DS and play Heart Gold or Soul Silver. Like trust, it's the business.
It's good.
X is also very good.
It is.
Omega Ruby is garbage because the third generation is bad, is boring, and all the Pokemon are bad. In my opinion.
Sun and Moon, though, looks like it's shaping up to be really interesting. The thing that I'm liking about Sun and Moon is I felt like with X and Y, they went a little bit more on the weird scale. With Sun and Moon, it feels like they're trying to adapt to the location. They're like, okay, we're doing tropical stuff.
Yeah.
Let's make things that fit that instead of
what would have
X and
come
Y.
here?
We're in France. Poodles.
There's a poodle. That's about as and there's like Flabébé and the Florges line is pretty French, I would say.
Yeah.
So I feel like they tried to do some stuff like that in Kalos, but like kind of ran out of ideas. Whereas like you can do a lot in a tropical region that we haven't seen before. So like all the Pokemon look really cool. Was it Brexish? It's the weird kissy fish.
Yeah, Bruxish.
Yeah, that one looks
I really
weird.
want one of those little creepers.
It looks weird. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but Cutie Fly makes up for it because that thing is adorable. It's the second cutest Pokemon after Teddy Ursa. Well, after I guess third, because Lillipup is definitely the cutest, especially when it's in pajamas, sticking its stupid little tongue out. Nothing better than that. So that's why they're so weird, because like you got to move forward with the designs, and definitely check out. Because I'd stopped playing for a long time, and then I jumped back in with Soul Silver. So let me put this down so I stop fidgeting with it. So I would definitely check that out if you're itching to get back into Pokemon beyond a listening to a podcast about it way. Someone's slamming the door outside real hard. I don't know. Let me check Twitter. Let's see what's going on.
I just did, and I don't see anything as of yet.
All right. Anybody got anything else? Stop slamming doors outside. This is what I have to deal with. This is just how I live my life. Here.
So how's everybody enjoying Pokemon Go?
It's dumb. I don't like it.
Huh?
No Pokemon come to my house. There's no Pokemon in my house at all. Anyway,
okay, so I've got a story.
There's no Pokemon in a mile walk from where I work to where I live. There are no Pokemon.
So I've got a story. So this past week, there was a speedrunning marathon called SGDQ, Summer Games Done Quick.
Yeah.
It's a charity running speed marathon where gamers attempt to beat games as quick as possible. So I'm just minding my own business, watching SGDQ. I boot up Pokemon Go, and I have it on my lap, and I'm just watching. And my phone buzzes, and I look down, and it's like, there's a Slowbro nearby. And I was like, oh my God, it's a Slowbro, sweet. I get up off of my couch, and I click, and it shows up on the screen, so I click it. It just shows up by my TV. And I was like, oh my God, Slowbro, you're letting me be lazy. And I sat back down on the couch and caught him. So,
nice.
Slowbro buddy, let me be. His name is Dippy Senior. And I do have a Slowbro named Dippy, or a Slowpoke named Dippy.
Are you doing a PWTU as much as you can?
As much as I can. Whenever I catch something that is on PWTU, I name it after it. So, nice. Or I name the primary of that after it. So,
nice. Joe says not available in the UK. And Shannon, who, if you guys don't know, is a character designer on Archer. So that's pretty awesome. She says, speaking on behalf of a character designer, sometimes you have to get weird to get something new. If they did just regular animals, people would still be mad that they're too boring. Weird gets people attention and has more options. I definitely agree with that, because like if you look at Gen 1, which a lot of people are because everyone has Pokemon Go, and that's all the Pokemon that are there. If you look at Gen 1, they're all really like plain. They're not boring, but they're like simple, and so they had to get like more and more. I would love it, and also that's why they are the perfect generation to start with, because they're simple to render. They're really easy to like make a 3D design of, because they're all pretty simple. I would love it if they redesigned a lot of the later generation Pokemon to like simplify them to make them look more like Gen 1. I would really like that a lot.
I think that'd be really cool.
I don't like when they turn into Digimon. I love Digimon. Don't get me wrong. I think Digimon is better than Pokemon, which is weird that I'm on this podcast. Yeah. I mean, the show, the games were.
Hey, Cyber Sleuth is a ton of fun. And by the way, if you like Digimon and you have a PS4, check out Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
But Digimon the show is 1,000,000,000% better than Pokemon the show, which is like a garbage train wreck. But that said, let me get off my soapbox. I don't like it when Pokemon evolve into dudes or like superhuman people, like your Jinx and your Mr. Mime, where they're like human adjacent.
Machop, Machoke, and Machamp, I feel like get a pass.
They do because they're first, and like that, I feel like
because they start looking like a kid, and then they kind of grow up and turn into Goro.
Yeah, but like when this little chicken boy turns into a kickboxer,
or turns into
with a mullet, like I'm not okay with that. Like that doesn't look good. I like Embor and I like Pignite and I like Tepig a lot, but I don't think that Embor literally turns into like Brodus Clay, who is a professional wrestler. He looks like Brodus Clay. Like he's got a singlet on with like gold phalanges. That's not the word I'm looking for. Filigree? Cool. Yeah, it's so.
Ooh, we got a fun tweet from Matt. Could y'all, our slang makes perfect sense. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Give us like 1-word hints of what is coming up.
One word.
I think I have mine in my hip holster.
Okay, fire it off then. What's yours?
Betrayal.
That's a good one. That's coming up pretty soon. That's a fast approaching one. If I can give a broader one, boat.
That's way down the line, but yeah, boat.
It's down the line, but yeah. So we got a couple. We got a couple questions. A couple questions over here. Shannon says, it's not really a question. Shannon says, the Digimon show is so much better than the Pokemon show. That's why I love Team Rocket, because it's the only thing to like on the show. Yep, that is true. And Ross says, I think in the UK and Canada, Pokemon Go's non-existence involves Valor with a U, as buggy with the release version, as the release version is. I wouldn't put it past to have one letter be a holdup, because they add the U outside of America in Valor. I would never, first of all, Ross, I would have never thought of that. Second of all, as knowing how Pokemon games used to be, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the thing that peels the duct tape up, is like this this U ruins everything.
Speaking of duct tape, I will challenge our listeners. Keep an ear out. I am dropping some not so subtle. I don't think they're super subtle. I think they're mildly subtle. Hints about something, especially in the Viridian Forest episodes. Listen, see if you pick it up, and if you do, it's probably what you think it is. I'll say that.
Okay, cool. Along those lines, I kind of want to give another, like a hint like that. I can't really say it without giving it away. Just kind of pay attention to like. No, I can't say anything. Or else it'll totally give it away. Never mind. Sorry,
I know
guys.
what you're wanting to say, but I don't think you should.
Yeah. It's the thing I talked about earlier, like the thing about Rose's backstory that is like the anchor point. Yeah, it's
we have a question from Joe.
Okay.
Curious to know what Jake and Josh's RP experience is. And I think the reason that he doesn't include me is he actually already knows mine. Because we're friends.
Well, Alan, you'll have to give yours afterwards.
I will. Go ahead.
Josh played D&D one time, and it was not a great session. It was me and my roommate and his roommate and my friend Leighton, who had a lot of ring rust from DMing, and everybody had never played D&D before except for me. And so like we all died. We TPK'd in the first session, and then we did it again, and it just the fun had kind of fell out. And then Pokemon World Tour. That's Josh's. I have been playing since high school, off and well, I guess since middle school, off and on. Mostly D&D, but my friend Eli and my friend Josh, other Josh, who I refer to almost exclusively as other Josh now. So like, if that comes up, that's my friend other Josh, who I knew before this Josh, but you guys don't know who it is. Anyway, so the three of us had this like homebrew game. If there was a game where you could play as like mutants, like as X-Men essentially, we couldn't find it and we didn't know how to play it. So we just basically made up a game that was like no rules, just right, Outback Steakhouse, like roll when appropriate and just play. And so we played that for a long time, like 8 years or so, like a lot. And that's mostly where it comes from. And then I moved away from them and haven't played in a while until we started up Pokemon World Tour United.
It's weird to say, but I have been game mastering for about a decade. I started GMing in about 2006. I tried to play during high school. I grew up in a small farming community in Alabama, so Dungeons and Dragons was literally the devil.
Was the literal devil.
Was the literal devil, and it was summoning literal devils.
Saint's not even a monster in the game.
Baphomet is. But anyways, so I started playing when I got to college. I started with D&D 3.5. And for the longest time, I didn't know anything else existed. I just thought it was D&D 3.5 or bust. Played 4th edition a little bit. Didn't really like it because it felt like WoW. And I'm not a big MMOer. But then I started getting into other systems. I got into Fate, which is a really neat system.
Fate is really, I haven't played with it, but I did a lot of research for #Secret Project 2, and Fate's a pretty cool guy.
I've gotten into a bunch of things. That's how I met Joe. There's another podcast called One Shot, and I had met some people through that, and wound up meeting Joe. And I still want to come back to this game, Joe. We are playing a Star Wars Edge of the Empire, actually really Force and Destiny based game where there are a bunch of Padawans trying to be Jedi Knights. Which is pretty cool. I also love doing superhero games. I love it. There's a really cool system called Worlds in Peril that when we get off mic, I'll talk to you more about. And yeah.
We can announce it, right? We can talk about it.
I guess we can. Are you comfortable doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a question from Hoops. We'll answer that in 1 second. But Alan and Josh and Shannon and I are starting up a podcast that'll be monthly. It'll be longer. It might be bi-monthly because each session we only play once a month, but we'll split it into two. And it's going to be like different role-playing systems, and it should be real fun. We've already done the first episode, and it was real fun. So like keep an eye out for that. Won't say the name yet because we haven't locked down the feed, and I don't want anyone to snipe us. Not that you guys would snipe us, but I don't like putting things out into the aether as far as names go because you never know. But here's a question we got from Hoops. Who plays Cobalt and Rose in the live-action remake?
I am really bad at casting.
I am not. But I feel like I don't know who plays kids anymore because it's all
I would want them to be unknowns.
Okay, I have a Rose in mind. She hasn't acted in a while. She was on Heroes, the show Heroes.
Yeah.
She played Molly. Her name is Adair Tischler. She's about the right age. She's like 18-ish now, I would get. When did Heroes? She was like a kid. She was like 10 or something. So she might be around 16, 17 now. But she's a really great actress, and I think she would do really good as Rose. For Cobalt, boy, I don't know. Someone handsome.
I was actually going to go kind of, for some reason, I understand like his character description is at least he's cute. But for me, for some reason, I see Michael Cera. I see like Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
If you could take like Arrested Development, sub Arrested Development age Michael Cera, if we could get that guy, then yes, that would be perfect. But Michael Cera is like 58 now. I don't know how old he is. He's way too old to be playing a 17-year-old.
That dude that plays Styles from Teen Wolf. I'm going to Google this.
I don't know a thing about Teen Wolves
either, hence why I'm Googling.
Yeah, do a Google. I know the sexy TV show, not the 80s movie. Yeah, I assumed it was the MTV show.
Yeah, just dye his hair white.
Yeah, obviously Adair Tischler has to dye her hair blue, right? But like, yeah, that can happen. Let's see other castings. I don't know.
I want to know who people think should play Victor. And I guess I don't know if I've ever really described Victor. Aside from the first episode, he's kind of portly. He's a bit big for his age. He's younger.
Big as in like, like bigger or also taller? I assume both.
Taller. Yeah, okay. He's kind of stout. He's a little bit, like I said, portly, a little bit round. Very, very smooth face, kind of a baby face. Yeah.
And you can, if you go on to, you got to do some excavation, but you go on to Shannon's Twitter or her art blog, shannonmaynardart.tumblr.com. You can go find the selfie of Biscuit and
I literally looked at it the other day.
It's so good. And you don't see a ton of Victor because he's holding Biscuit out, but you can see like his crazy hair. I feel like he has permanent bedhead.
He does.
Also, yeah,
he does.
It's real good. Shan says that he's really goofy and the only good actor on the show.
Then he's perfect.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Let's see. Who else could we cast? You obviously cast one person to be Jenny, and that's it.
To be all the Jennies and all the Joys.
And yeah, two separate people. Who would we cast to do that? Because I feel like my gut reaction is Maggie Lawson from Psych. Did you ever watch Psych? She played Jules. She would be a good Officer Jenny.
I know who I want for Joy. Paget Brewster.
Oh, Paget Brewster would be great.
As Joy?
I think you can just say like Paget Brewster would be great.
Yeah, that's the answer to everything. For those of you who aren't familiar, Paget Brewster, she, oh God, no.
Yeah, you shave it, you can be Victor.
No. So Paget Brewster, she apparently, I think she was on, what was it? Not Psych. It wasn't Psych. It was,
she's on Community recently. That's
Community. She was on another show.
Criminal Minds?
Criminal Minds, that's it.
Yeah.
But she, at least to me and Jake, is most near and dear to our hearts for a podcast called The Thrilling Adventure Hour, where she plays Sadie Doyle, a medium, an alcoholic medium who solves mysteries with her husband, Frank.
Yeah, who is also an alcoholic medium.
And it's amazing, and check it out, and it's wonderful. Yeah,
it's great.
It's the best voice ever.
It's so good. So good. Paget Brewster for all the Joys would be a good call. Also, Janet Varney would also be a good Officer Jenny. Janet Varney played Cora. She was the voice actress for Cora. She's also on a different Thrilling Adventure Hour show called Sparks Nevada, where she plays Jenny West, who has the best twist.
Is she also Amelia Earhart?
No, that was Autumn Reeser.
Autumn Reeser.
Janet Varney was in one episode of Amelia Earhart, if I'm remembering. Let's get out of the weeds on this one. But Janet Varney would also be good. Let's see. Who would be Kent? We can't talk about Kent yet.
We can't talk about Kent yet. I'm trying to think of who's blue.
Who's blue? Who's smarmy? Who's a good smarmy 30-something who would definitely hit on a 16-year-old?
Who's Acorn? Okay, I actually know who I'd want for Acorn, but I kind of want Nathan Fillion for Acorn.
Oh, yeah, of course. That'd be great. No spoilers to anyone who hasn't seen Buffy, but like me and my roommate just got to the point in Buffy where Nathan Fillion shows up. Oh, he is so good at acting.
He's so good at the acting.
Shannon says, depending on how old we assume Bonnie to be, I may have a list of actresses for her.
Ooh, yes, Billy and Bonnie.
Billy and Bonnie. I don't know who'd be Billy. Bonnie, my number one is this this model named Stephanie. Shannon, let me know. Stephanie something. I forget what, but she, number one, for a long time had purple hair. She is very tall, like buff, and like super curvy, and like could kill you. Like looks like she could like crush you. And like she's too jovial, but if she could scowl, she would be a great Bonnie.
For Billy, I would want someone, and I know this is oddly specific.
Or Gwendolyn Christie, because she's just she's great at everything.
Shannon, oh yeah, Billy exists. For Billy, I want somebody who looks like, those people that you can tell they haven't showered in a while because of the oil in their hair. That's always how I picture Billy's hair. It's that sickly green, but it also kind of has that oily look to it.
Like he slicked it back, but he doesn't have any product up in there.
Right. It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
He's just smarmy and a little bit gross.
Yeah. Trying to think of who would be good. You know who I think would be pretty good, since we just talked about Buffy? Tom Lenk, who played Andrew on Buffy.
Oh, yeah, he would be good.
I think he would be really good because he can do a lot. He was also on one episode, like maybe my favorite episode of Beyond Belief from Thrilling Adventure Hour. He was Pan. He was the first Pan.
Oh, yeah.
Which was just like so great. That episode is so good. But yeah, I would pick him or... Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't watch a lot of TV right now, or a lot of because I'm very busy with podcasts. So the only thing I really watch is like Game of Thrones and iZombie.
I watch a lot of the DC shows. I watch Flash.
I'm gonna catch up on Flash.
I tried with Arrow, and then it didn't really work for me. Like this last season was just not. It was not my jam.
You're a good person. You don't deserve to do that to yourself.
But Flash was so good, guys.
Flash is very good. I lost track of it.
All of you, Voltron. The new Voltron on Netflix. Watch it. And talk to me about it.
I still haven't watched it. He's been
going
for a week.
Questions?
Anybody else? Yeah, maybe we should start wrapping up. If anyone's got any last minute questions, let's double check the Twitter and we'll start wrapping up.
Yeah, I'm reloading the Twitters now.
Oh. All right. This is also good audio. If someone watches this, and be like, "Oh man, you know what my favorite part is when they just check Twitter for 10 minutes." Yeah, the live stream was going really good.
Hype. So good. So good.
You're seeing them a second before I am. Yeah, I mean, like it could be. Yeah, I guess it might be good.
So good.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Shannon says, I tweet too much. I can't find the name of that model. My love of huge muscular ladies is failing me. Also, Gina Carano from Deadpool showed me. Yeah.
Great. She would be great.
She would be great as Bonnie.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, it's Stephanie. I follow her on Instagram. It's Stephanie. It starts with an F, I think. But she's like a big, brawny lady. Like she's very pretty. She's a very pretty lady.
And see, that's kind of how I imagine Bonnie. Is she's big, she's tough, but she likes being womanly. Yeah. But she does it in private, so people don't make fun of her for it. Like she's that kind of character.
Okay.
I also have an entire backstory written out for Bonnie specifically. I have more on Bonnie than I do Billy, if that tells you anything.
Because I mean, look, number one, 2/3 of the most reoccurring characters, that's Sierra and Cobalt, have giant crushes on Bonnie.
True.
So I mean, if that gives anybody anything, that's why that you have a little more on them. Let's see. I don't know why. I don't know why you'd have a lot on Billy at this point. There's not like a ton for him that I mean, maybe there is. Maybe there's a lot of depth there, but like right now he's just like a slime ball.
Who would play Cobalt's mom?
Who would play Cobalt? Oh boy.
I would want, and I can't remember the actress's. No, I can remember. Christine Sutherland. I think would be.
I think she's a lot too
She's
old
a little.
at this point.
She's too old at this point. But Buffy age Christine Sutherland.
You know what? Sarah Michelle Gellar and Mark Blucas would be.
Oh my God! No, not Mark Lucas. No.
Yes, Mark Blucas.
No.
Do not put the sins of season 5 Riley on Mark Blucas, the man. Okay, Alan.
He's not as buff as I see.
Lucas is buff.
Cyan. He is, but
okay,
he's
right. So
like Cyan. I see one of those as like the super wide shoulder, like almost power lifter.
Okay, so like,
but not like Hafthor Bjornsson huge. I'm talking just kind of.
Okay, so like maybe a professional wrestler then. What about
like maybe a professional wrestler or somebody?
If we're if we're going like broad dudes, like muscle head guys, that's what I'm thinking. Like that's yes, no. Am I close on that?
Well, I mean, I landed kind of on Steve Amell.
Oh, and you think Mark Blucas is scrawnier than Stephen
No,
Amell?
I'm not saying that he's scrawnier. It's just in my
Mark
head.
Blucas could eat Stephen Amell for breakfast.
Just especially if it's paired with Sarah Michelle Gellar. I don't like.
They had great chemistry in season 4.
I am not saying anything about the chemistry. Okay, look. I have opinions about Riley, and I try not to let that bleed into my opinions about Mark Blucas, but I have them, and they're valid.
Okay, what about Nicholas Brendan? Nicholas Brendan could also be.
Ooh, he would be a
pretty good one. Shannon's trying to think of someone who could work for Sierra, and all I can think of is the woman that plays Draco Malfoy from a Harry Potter musical. Lauren
Lopez. Lauren Lopez. Yes.
All right, done. Cast, color. Someone give her a call.
For those of you who aren't aware, Lauren Lopez is part of a company called Team Star Kid. They've done a Harry Potter musical. They've done Twisted, which is the story of Jafar, but done in the style of Wicked. They've done Me and My Dick, which is exactly what you think it is.
Hey, well,
The Trail to Oregon.
This is an all ages podcast, dude. Like,
yeah,
I can't bleep out that. It's all right. It's all right. It's only adults are in here anyway. If there's any children, sorry. I can't imagine Twisted be like the Jafar. I can't.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I can't imagine Jafar in a positive light. That dude's the worst.
Watch this musical and it'll change your mind. The way they frame it is really interesting. It's obviously super funny. It is not intended for children.
I gotta watch a Harry Potter musical so I can get half of the things these Alan and Shannon talk about.
It is not intended for children in any way, shape, or form. But the guy who plays Jafar, Dylan Saunders, he is just absolutely phenomenal. They tell the story in a very interesting way. The subplot is that in the land there were the 2Ds of like dignity and duty, and then came the 3D. So it was talking about Disney making the switch from 2D animation to 3D animation. It's really self-referential. It's really funny. I highly recommend it.
All right,
I'm off my soapbox now.
I'll have to check that out eventually.
Yes.
Probably before Voltron, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Yeah, well, Voltron is a multi-hour commitment. Twisted's only 3 hours. So
I'd probably watch the Harry Potter musicals before I watch Twisted anyway. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
and they're a good primer.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other characters that have popped up that we can talk about because obviously we're 6 episodes ahead of the.
That's true.
What's out?
You know who one of my favorite side characters is that I keep coming back to, and I'm trying to figure out a way to bring her back in, but I haven't found a way yet?
Who?
Ranger Rebecca.
Oh, from...
Beagles are a menace! They're a menace! The Beagle, or the Weedle family that I have in Pokemon Go, Weedle is not a menace. Kakuna is kind of a menace, and Beedrill is going to be menace in all caps with lots of exclamation points.
Nice. Let's see. I would like for her to come back. She was pretty a pretty fun one off. I don't know. I don't want to necessarily do the like all the gate. No,
they're all going to be different.
Okay, yeah, because like I feel like the joke works twice with Jenny and Joy, and then that's after that you're getting you're getting too in depth with it. Joe is laughing at the word duty. So there's that. You fit right in, Joe. Look, Dad. Oh yeah, guys, if you guys want that as a ringtone, like I'll probably put that up on Patreon. I'm gonna be making a lot of ringtones. Does anyone have any? Okay, before we end, if anyone has any questions, send them in. But if you don't, if you're a patron, which I think most of the people in here are, what ringtones would you like from either Pokemon World Tour or Morphin Grid if you listen to that too?
Oh my God, yes. Shannon says, just because I can see her dramatically rolling across the floor going, did somebody say Sierra? When entering a conversation that has absolutely nothing to do with her. Yes. That's Draco Malfoy's kind of thing. It was actually a goof. In the first performance of a Harry Potter musical, the actress tripped when she was coming on stage, but she turned it into like this twisty, like she laid herself out on the floor and was like, did somebody say Draco Malfoy? And that just became Draco's thing. And it's amazing.
Nice. That's good. It's good stuff. Trying to think of anything else we can talk about. I think we might be done. Guys.
I think so.
This went a lot longer than I intended, but I think it was fun. I had fun. Thanks for sticking with us.
We really appreciate it. If you guys have any suggestions for, Pokemon you'd like to see in the podcast, if you have any suggestions of ringtones to make, like Shannon, say thank you for saying my Drowsy would be a great ringtone.
Joe says Rose shouting over Cobalt's call to his mom, please. Absolutely. Also in episode 14, we get Rose's ringtone for her mom, which is great. I think it's hilarious. That'll probably end up being a ringtone eventually. Yeah, definitely. I'll make a list. I'll get to work on these.
So please send those to us. Remember, tweet at us, #PWTUnited. I cannot tell you how much it makes my day. Even if it's not fan art, if it's just somebody asking a question or just talking about us, it makes my heart smile. I'm very, very happy that you guys like what we do. We have a lot of fun doing it. So please continue to talk to us and, keep the tweets coming. We love them. Yeah,
they're literally like some of the best parts of my day is like people talking, because this is the first thing, because I've been doing podcasts for 2.5 years now. Not to brag,
not humble brag, but humble brag.
But like, 2 years, like, 5-star, Morphin Grid's 5-star podcast is basically perfect in every way. But Pokemon World Tour United is the first like really creative endeavor, because like they're all like, we have to create the other things, right? Like that's technically creative, but like this is the first thing where it's like I get to put my imagination to use in ways that I don't get to in other places, and I have a lot of fun doing that. And so I'm glad a lot of people like it. I'm glad everyone's enjoying it, because it's real fun. It's a bear to edit, but it's worth it. It's always worth it, because it's a good time.
Matt Hoadley. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, except in one episode where we just kept not saying what our roles were. No one.
I literally have a note on my computer now, guys, that says "says rolls aloud." It is taped to my.
Good.
Matt asks for Pokemon speak, Bango and Treble, but also Chansey and maybe others down the line. Speaking of Bango and Treble, I adore getting to do their voices, especially now Bango, because he's become more and more sassy.
Yeah.
And I kind of love it.
I said it on Twitter the other day that like I can't like originally we were gonna I didn't even think this was gonna come up, but like I was just gonna put in the sound bite of the Pokemon cry when the Pokemon were talking, like when they said something or when they attacked or were hit or whatever. Because there's another Pokemon podcast that hasn't updated in probably 2 years at this point, called Pokeballs of Steelix. It's a Nerd Show product. They did it way first, but they sad stuff happened, and so the show's been on hiatus for a long time, and they're working on bringing it back. But like,
it's also NSFW.
Very NSFW. If you just look at the cover art, you'll kind of figure out what's going on. Nerdy Show is just very not safe for work in a lot of ways. But they they do the cry, and so I was like, oh, I'll just do that. That's fine. And then Alan just started doing the I don't know. I think we talked about it. I think you're like, yeah, I'm going to do the cries. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. We'll see how that goes. And now at this point, I literally can't even imagine what it would be like if I couldn't argue with Bango. Like, I just can't, because like it happens a lot now, and it's great. It's real fun. Because he's super sassy, and like, I don't know. It just works in such a way that like there's like layers to the character that you can't get from sound clips. You know,
and that's my thing about them is I like to play up their personalities. Cynical is timid. Is his, they're not called personalities. What are they called?
Nature. His nature.
Natures. So he's a timid boy, and so I like playing Treble is scared. I like playing Bango is sassy.
His nature is distracted, but he has become a sassy boy.
And Scramble is cuddly. Yes. As I think you guys are going to become more aware next episode, which I'm super excited about. Something happens next episode with Scramble that I think is super cool. But yeah,
episode 14. There's a lot of good Bango stuff. I've also given him the trait of being jealous. Like that just kind of also developed.
Yeah, that just kind of evolved.
Yeah, it just sort of like happened. But he is a jealous boy, and like
and Base is a jerk.
Yeah, he is an angry old man that's also a cat that's also a rhino bunny. Very easy, very simple.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're all following this, right?
Yeah,
everything's cool.
Everyone's on board so far. But yeah, I absolutely love it. All the voices, and like Chansey are all like really helpful and cute and like having their picture taken, and like that's so great. Like, I don't know, I just love it. I love it, Alan. You do good work on this podcast.
Thank you very much. To be completely honest, at first I was a little bit self-conscious about it. And I've told Jake this. There is a person on YouTube that did every Pokemon speaking through all the generations, and I probably watched her videos at least twice. Although some of them, for example, Cronenberg, Sierra's Ghastly, if you listen to the first episode that Cronenberg appears in, he sounds very different than he does kind of currently. And I fell into the voice that felt right for her character.
I'll read this because it's complimenting you. It's from Ross. The personality put into the Pokemon speak is what gets you props for the voice acting. Voice acting isn't just doing voices / sounds. It's using them to convey a thought / emotion, and you do that very well. I completely agree with Ross.
I do not think I could be more red than I am right now, but thank you so much.
Yeah, you're pretty red, buddy. Also, like Ross is a voice actor, and he has a wonderful voice. So like,
yes, he does.
It's not like this is like some layman just saying this praise. Like this is like a dude who's good at that stuff. So, I completely agree.
Well, thank you.
I also really like. That note hasn't come up yet. Can't talk about that. Lotad is pretty good. Oh, you know what my justification for Ghastly's voice changing is the Mew.
Yeah.
It's just like, he got some Mew glow on him.
Yep.
And,
he got that encounter with Mew and things changed.
Yeah.
So, yep. That's my thought too. Is Mew made him a little bit more happy.
Yeah.
So.
Now he's all ghastly.
Ghastly.
There is it an 8 where you and Josh and maybe Shannon just do dueling drowsies for like a solid minute and a half?
Yeah, I think that was last episode.
Yeah, if it's not last one, it's in 9.
Drowsy.
Yeah.
No. And I don't know why he rolls his R's. It fits.
Because he's sleepy. Can't get his tongue all the way up.
He's a sleepy boy.
Togepi's also very good. Psyduck, Private Psy, has a lot of personality. Because he says duck when he walks, like it's a weird tick. Yeah, like, and so like at first I was like, he's a little loquacious, he's a little much. But I think we found a sweet spot with his last appearance, and he hasn't shown back up yet. So maybe old Ducky Boy better
what he's up to.
Poke back in.
I wonder what he's up to.
Well, maybe he was getting his official certification. Maybe he was in the woods looking for rockets, which definitely happened in Shannon's comics. There's also
so cute.
because that was 6 and 7. I don't know if she's doing one for 8. I don't put you on the spot or anything, Shannon. Again, totally up to you. But she did one for 11 or 12. 12. I think it's 12. She did a comic for 12. That is amazing. That I cannot wait to be able to show people. Because it is the greatest. It might be the absolute best picture of a Drowsy anyone's ever drawn.
Yep. I 100% agree with that.
It's wonderful. And it's a good fake out. It's very good. It's a very good time. So you can follow her on Twitter at Shannon Maynor. Just do that. Just all 5 of you. Well, 4 of you who aren't Shannon. If you're not following her, just go do it. I think we're gonna end. I think this is a good place to end. Oh! Just as I say it, Joe Pops. Psyduck is probably in a London apartment throwing things at a wall. Is that a Sherlock?
Yeah, it's a Sherlock reference.
Okay. I won't put it past him. That dude traveled. He passed us. Like, we met him and he just snuck by us into the Route 22. So thank you guys for coming out.
Thank y'all so much. It was so much fun.
Hey, maybe we'll do this more often. Maybe we'll keep them to an hour for real. And now that I know how to set one up the first time, so that's good. But maybe it'll be like a Patreon exclusive thing in the future. It'll be like a PWTU, like monthly hangout sort of thing. It won't be on a Wednesday because that's when we record usually. But Josh has a thing, so he's not here, obviously. So that's why we did this instead. So Alan, if that's something you would be interested in, maybe that's something we can look at.
Absolutely. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for like a milestone or something later. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for coming out. I didn't expect anybody to, but here you are. You're the best. You're the best ones. And again, if you heard that secret about Rose, keep it to yourself.
And please remember, I would love suggestions of Pokemon that you guys want to see, these two run into over the course of their adventures. So please send those in to me. I can be found at Alan_Sells. That's ALAN_SELLS.
I'm at JJ_Mason on Twitter. Obviously, Pokemon World Tour is at PWT Podcast.
You probably already knew that one.
You probably figured that out. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And we are, if you follow the two of us and you follow Shannon and you follow Josh, who's at JNix_NICS04, we just talk a lot. If we start talking too much, we bring it to the group chat, and that's where all the cool stuff happens. That's where the cool kids sit, at the cool kids table.
Yeah,
as the group chat is called. So you don't get to be in on that. That's private. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they will. But see, that's the cool thing, is that you do get to eventually be in on what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Keep your eyes peeled for the next time we do this.
All right. Bye.
Bye.